Hare Krishna to all dear devotees. Hare Krishna Vindhya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Always to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Prabhuji, Mataji, whenever you're ready, you can please start, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namakshristyam Namam Shivananotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamuriraye Nastapareshu Apareshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Pavati Nastike. Today we are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 3, The Birth of Lord Krishna, text 46 to 53. Text 46. Sukadev Goswami said, after thus instructing his father and mother, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, remained silent. In their presence, by his internal energy, he then transformed himself into a small human child. In other words, he transformed himself into his original form, Krishna tu Bhagavan Swayam. Text 47. Thereafter, exactly when Vasudeva, being inspired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to take the newborn child from the delivery room, Yogamaya, the Lord's spiritual energy, took birth as the daughter of the wife of Maharaj Nanda. Text 48 and 49. By the influence of Yogamaya, all the doorkeepers fell fast asleep, their senses unable to work, and the other inhabitants of the house also fell deeply asleep. When the sun rises, the darkness automatically disappears. Similarly, when Vasudeva appeared, the closed doors, which were strongly pinned with iron and locked with iron chains, opened automatically. Since the clouds in the sky were mildly thundering and showering, Anantanaga, an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, followed Vasudeva, beginning from the door, with hoods expanded to protect Vasudeva and the transcendental child. Text 50. Because of constant rain sent by the demigod Indra, the river Yamuna was filled with deep water, foaming about with fiercely whirling waves. But as the great Indian Ocean had formerly given way to Lord Ramachandra by allowing him to construct a bridge, the river Yamuna gave way to Vasudeva and allowed him to cross. Text 51. When Vasudeva reached the house of Nanda Maharaj, he saw that all the cowherd men were fast asleep. Thus he placed his own son on the bed of Yashoda, picked up her daughter, an expansion of Yogamaya, and then returned to his residence, the prison house of Kansa. Text 52. Vasudeva placed the female child on the bed of Devaki, bound his legs with the iron shackles, and thus remained there as before. Text 53. Exhausted by the labor of childbirth, Yashoda was overwhelmed with sleep and unable to understand what kind of child had been born to her. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of chapter 3 of Canto 10, chapter 3, the birth of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining for today's Bhagavatam session. And thank you Vidya Mataji for reading today's Bhagavatam section Slokas translation. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto, chapter 3, the birth of Lord Krishna, from Slokas 46 to 53, end of the chapter. Start with prayers. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you, Sundarama Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to share few points from Srila Prabhupada's purports for today's section for my own purification. So we are in the section of appearance of Supreme Lord Krishna. So in the last chapter we heard how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, entered in the womb of Mother Devaki, and also to perform the paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritana, to kill Kamsa, and understanding that Krishna is in the womb of Mother Devaki, we heard how the demigods they appeared there, they came there and they offered beautiful prayers called Garbhastuti prayers. And in this chapter so far we saw that heard like from wonderful devotees that how Mother Devaki, being fully transcendental and looks like she doesn't belong to this material world, so at that time the Supreme Person of Godhead Sri Krishna, he appeared with his 4 hands. And then upon seeing the Lord in that Vishnu form, so Vasudeva was struck with wonder, and at the same time he was very happy in transcendentally, and he and Devaki, they mentally gave 10,000 cows in charity to the Brahmanas. And then Vasudeva offered many wonderful prayers to the Supreme Lord Krishna, saying that he is the Supreme Person, he is the Parabrahma, he is the Super Soul, like that. And then following her husband, Mother Devaki also offered many wonderful prayers. Then, and being in Vatsalya Rasa, fearing Kamsa, so Mother Devaki, desiring that Lord not to be understand by these materialistic non-devotees, so she prayed to Supreme Lord Krishna to withdraw his transcendental 4-armed form and appear like an ordinary child with 2 hands. So then the Supreme Lord Krishna, he spoke to Vasudeva and Devaki, saying that he was very pleased in their previous birth. At that time they were Sutapa and Prushni, and they performed great severe austerity and pleased Krishna, and they wanted Krishna as their son. So Krishna reminded them, saying that at that time he appeared as a Prushni Garbha. At that time they were Sutapa and Prushni, and then in the next time he appeared as Vaman Deva, and that time Vasudeva and Devaki were Kashyapa and Aditi. And now this is the 3rd time he was appearing as their son, Vasudeva and Devaki, to fulfill their desire. So, and then we'll continue from today's sloka 46. In the 46th sloka we see that Sukadeva Goswami is saying that after instructing Krishna to his father and mother, he remained silent, and in their presence by his internal energy, Atma Maya. So that's a word that is used in this sloka. Then he transferred himself into a small human child. Prabhupada also says that, he transferred himself into original form, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that, quoting Bhagavad Gita sloka, saying that Sambhavami Atma Maya. So whatever is done by the Supreme Lord, it is done through his spiritual energy. That's why we see that, Krishna appeared first with the 4-hand form of Vishnu, then he came to his original form. When he appeared also, he had full hair, and he is endowed with all ornaments. So that's why it's not like an ordinary child taking birth in this material world, like as generally that we see it. So in that way we can also understand that the Supreme Lord Krishna appeared through his internal energy, Atma Maya. So, and nothing will be forced towards the Supreme Lord by the material energy. Prabhupada says that that is the difference between the Supreme Lord and ordinary living entities, because Supreme Lord endowed with many unlimited energies. Parasya Shaktir Vibhadaiva Shruyate Swabhavika Jnana Balakriyacha. So not only endowed with many energies, but all of them are aligned with Krishna's desire. So as soon as Krishna desires something, they will do immediately. And they are aligned with Krishna's desire, and they are also empowered by knowledge and strength, and they perform the activities. So and Prabhupada says that maybe ordinary people may have difficulty to accept how come the Supreme Lord will appear as a small ordinary human being like that. But Prabhupada stresses that Krishna can do anything and everything through his internal energy, spiritual energy, Atma Maya. So whoever doubts that Krishna appearing in this material world as a normal human child, and then he is influenced by the material nature, and his body is also a material, and Prabhupada mentions that they are fools like that. And Prabhupada also quotes, in the Bhagavad Gita also we have that sloka, right? Avajananti mam muda manushim tanumashrim. So when Krishna comes in the human form, so some of the fools, they think that so he is an ordinary personality. But Krishna points that param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. But they do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada stresses and clarifies to all of us that so we should not think that Krishna appearing as a two-handed human form, a normal child. So we shouldn't think that he is an ordinary child. So he is the Supreme Person of Godhead, so appearing in that wonderful form like that. Then in the 47th sloka, Sukadeva Goswami says that Vasudeva, being inspired by the Supreme Lord, was about to take the newborn child from the delivery room. And at the same time, we also see that Krishna's spiritual energy, Yogamaya, she took birth as the daughter of the mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. And in this sloka, Vasudeva is mentioned as Sauri. Sauri means, one understanding is coming in the dynasty of Surasena Maharaj, because he is the son of Surasena. And other understanding is Sauri means Sauriam, like he is a brave. He doesn't afraid. He is not afraid because he has a full faith that his son is the Supreme Lord, and he will kill Kamsa and he will protect them. So we see that a devotee who has taken complete shelter and who has complete faith on the Supreme Lord, so they have nothing to fear in this material world. So Narayana Parasarve Nakutaschana Bibhyati. So one who has taken complete shelter of Supreme Lord Krishna, so there is no fear for them. So that's why Krishna's lotus field is also called as Abhaya Charana Aravinda. So when we take shelter at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Krishna, then there is no fear for the devotees. And then the other word that is used in this sloka is so Vasudeva, he carried Supreme Lord Krishna very carefully. So samadhaya means so he carried Krishna with utmost care. So similarly, for a person who carries Krishna carefully, which means that if we practice Krishna consciousness sincerely and seriously, I'm talking to myself, then he can make things which looks like impossible, he can make them possible. Like he can be able to accomplish those things. It may look like impossible, but he can be able to accomplish because he is carrying Krishna with him. So he is in the heart. So so we see in the life of all the wonderful devotees, like we see Srila Prabhupada, who in advanced age, so he traveled all the way from India to USA in cargo ship and spread Krishna consciousness for thousands of people. So he established 108 temples. I mean, to establish one temple itself, even though if they have a strong support, so it takes couple of years. But Prabhupada, within couple of years, he established 108 temples, and he traveled all over the world. And then he inspired many of them. He wrote many books, and he guided thousands of disciples like that. So because Srila Prabhupada is carrying Krishna very carefully. So similarly, if we can carry Krishna carefully, then we can be able to do many wonderful services. Not only that, even if there are any challenges that come, that will also be automatically gone. So we can see in the next slokas also, like how Vasudeva, whatever the challenges that are in front of him, they are all automatically destroyed. So similarly, if we practice Krishna consciousness sincerely and seriously, so whatever the challenge that will come in our life also will be removed, or it will be destroyed. So it could be spiritual struggles, or it could be material struggles. Automatically they will be resolved. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that Matchitta sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishyasi. He says that if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. But if you don't do that, atachetvam ahankaram nastosyasi venangshayasi. So if you don't follow, or if you don't become conscious of me, then you act through your false ego, then you will be lost. So then you will be destroyed, because all our anarthas will become strong, and senses will drag us towards the destruction, and then we'll be lost like that. So, but if we keep Krishna in the center, and if we carry Krishna in our heart, then we'll be able to uh, cross over any challenges that we have. Like we see many devotees, like initially when they come in Krishna consciousness, or before they come Krishna consciousness, they have great challenges, even to stop tea or coffee. Like they try like an year, and then again they start drinking coffee, tea, like that. But once they come into Krishna consciousness and practice this process, so without their notice, or without they are not awareing, they stopped eating meat or onion, garlic, and give up tea or coffee, anything, without any difficult like that. So similarly, one who carries Krishna consciousness, all the problems will be destroyed. So whether the problems, challenges that comes through our mind, or the senses which agitate our anarthas, like lust, anger, greed, which are the doors to the hellish planets, they will all be destroyed. So if we can practice this Krishna consciousness sincerely. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that so Krishna appeared simultaneously, and yesterday also His Grace Sundarananda Prabhu was also mentioning, he appeared as the son of Mother Devaki. Of course, first he appeared as a Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu, in the form of 400 Vishnu form, and then became the 200 form of Supreme Lord Krishna. And also at the same time, he also appeared son of Mother Devaki, along with the spiritual energy Yogamaya. So Yogamaya took birth as a daughter of Mother Yashoda, like that. And only difference, Prabhupada mentions that Mother Devaki, so she is not in the position of pure Vatsalya rasa. So she is mixed with awe and reverence, respect. But Mother Yashoda, so she is in Kevala Vatsalya. So please, her son, without Mother Yashoda, they don't consider Supreme Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord. So they have the pure Vatsalya rasa, so they consider him as their son, and they always tries to please Krishna as their own son, like that. So that's a difference that Prabhupada mentions in the purport. And in the next sloka, we see that because Krishna, Vasudeva is carrying Krishna very carefully, so all the challenges that he had in front of him, they're all automatically gone by the influence of Yogamaya. So by the influence of Yogamaya, so the doorkeepers, they fell fast asleep. And not only that, their senses unable to work, because if Krishna, Vasudeva is carrying, and if their senses are working, then they can be able to understand that the doors are opened, or they can hear their Vasudeva's walking steps, like that. But here we see that by the influence of Yogamaya, their senses also doesn't work. And not only that, the other inhabitants of the house also, they fell deeply asleep. So because all these challenges are removed, so that Vasudeva can carry Krishna from the prison house to the Gokula, so to the house of Maharaj Nanda or Mother Yashoda. And not only that, we see that all the closed doors, so which were strongly pinned with iron and locked with iron chains, they also automatically opened. So this is the wonderful thing, like and we see that the clouds in the sky mildly thundering and showering. Vavarshavaha, they are showering rain. So how they are showering rain? Upamsu gajjitaha, very mildly resounding and raining very slightly like that. And devotees mentions that so Indra is the in charge of the rain, so he is very happy to see Krishna's appearance on this earth planet. So that's why he sent this mildly rainy shower to express his happiness. And of course, because this mildly rainy shower is coming, so Anantanaga or Sheshanaga, who is the expansion of the Supreme Lord, so he followed Vasudeva beginning from the door with the hoods expanded to protect Vasudeva and the transcendental chair. And Prabhupada mentions that the Sheshanaga, which is mentioned in this sloka, is his business is to serve the Supreme Lord. So he is also considered as one of the Shakti Vaishya Avatara. So there are 7 prominent Shakti Vaishya Avatara generally mentioned. One of them is Sheshanaga. So he is the empowered to do the service. So similarly, there are different great personalities who are empowered to do a different task. Like earlier we heard about Lord Parshurama. So he is also one of the Shakti Avatara for the Dushta Damana Shakti. So he is empowered to annihilate the demonic kings. So similarly here, Seshanaga Prabhupada mentions that his business is to serve the Supreme Lord. So that's why here, when Vasudeva is carrying the child, so Seshanaga came to serve the Lord and to protect from the child from these mildly showers of rain. And in the next sloka, you see that there is a constant rain sent by the demigod Indra. So looks like before Krishna's appearance also there is a constant rain that is sent by Indra in that area. So due to that, all that water came and entered into the river Yamuna. So due to that, Mother Yamuna is filled with deep water. And here also it is mentioned, Mother Yamuna is mentioned as Yama Anuja. So Yama Anuja, which means that she is the sister of Yamaraja. So like how Lakshmana is mentioned as Rama Anuja. So he is the younger brother of Lord Ramachandra. So similarly here also Mother Yamuna is mentioned as Yama Anuja. So he is sister of the Yamaraja. Of course, they both are born from the sun god, so that's why they are brother and sisters like that. And also, the reason that is mentioned is as Yama Anuja, sister of Yamaraj, because when somebody who performs the sinful activities, when they hear Yamaraj, they are very fearful. So because of they remember the severe punishments that will come from Yamaraj due to their sinful activities. So similarly here also, Mother Yamuna filled with the deep water. Not only that, there are fiercely whirling waves. But of course, for a devotee, Yamaraj is also one of the Mahajana. Is a great devotee. So for a devotee, so they are very happy to take the Yamaraj association. So they are not fearful by hearing Yamaraj's name, because they know that Yamaraj is a great devotee, one of the Mahajana, and they are very happy to take Yamaraj association. Also Yamaraj will be very happy to see a Vaishnava and to take his association also. So similarly here, so Vasudeva being a great devotee and holding Krishna, so Mother Yamuna, so she gave way to Vasudeva and allowed him to cross from one side to the other side. And here is also another example is given how the great Indian Ocean formerly given way to Lord Ramachandra by allowing him to construct a bridge. And of course, this the bridge is also now known as Ramasetu. So this is mentioned in Yuddhakanda of Ramayanam, where Lord Ramachandra constructed this 100 yojanas bridge. So within only 5 days. So that is mentioned here, how the ocean god gave way to Lord Ramachandra so that their army can construct a bridge so that all of them can cross over the ocean. Of course, when one is empowered by the Supreme Lord Krishna, or one who carries the Supreme Lord Krishna, or one who becomes a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, what to speak of this simple ocean? They can cross over this vast material ocean also. In Bhagavatam we hear, right? Samasritaya Padapallava Plavam Mahatpadam Punya Yasho Murvari. So who has taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So then for them this Bhavambhudir, so this vast ocean of this material world, it will become Vatsapadam Parampadam. So it will become very small and the size of a calf hoop sprint. So it will become very small so that the devotees can easily cross over it. So similarly here Vasudeva, when he is carrying Krishna, so Mother Yamuna, she gave way to Vasudeva and allowed him to cross it. And Mother Yamuna is also very jubilant and happy to see the Supreme Lord Krishna here. So she was trying to touch the Supreme Lord Krishna's lotus feet also. And then in the 51 sloka, so when Vasudeva reached Nanda Maharaj, so whatever the challenges are there in this place also, all of them are automatically removed. So he saw that all the cowherd men were fast asleep, and then he placed his own son on the bed of Yashoda and picked up her daughter, the expansion of Yogamaya, and then returned to his residence, the prison house of Kamsa. Of course, earlier we heard from Srila Prabhupada's purport that Yashoda also gave birth of Supreme Lord Krishna along with the expansion of Yogamaya. So that's why we hear devotees mentioning that when Vasudeva brought the Madhura Krishna, so Krishna in Madhura, to Gokula, to Vrindavan, then this Krishna is merged with the Vrindavan Krishna. So, and then Vasudeva brought Yogamaya, who is the daughter of Mother Yashoda, back to the prison house. And then Prabhupada mentions in the purport that Vasudeva knows that very well that if he brings, once he brings the daughter of Mother Yashoda, so who is an expansion of Yogamaya, to the prison house, back to the Madhura, then Kamsa will definitely will kill. So, and here the question may arise that to protect his own child, why would one has to kill the other child of other person's child like that? But here Prabhupada clarifies and he also quotes Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comment saying that so one cannot accuse Vasudeva like that because this is all done under the influence of Yogamaya. So it is under the supervision of the Yogamaya, all these are happening. So Krishna is desired to do like this, so that's why these are all happening. So it's not that Vasudeva is purposely doing something like that. And in the next sloka, 52, Vasudeva placed the female child on the bed of Devaki. Then what he did is he bound his legs with iron shackles and remained there as before like that. And here also devotees mentions that how Vasudeva, though after performing this wonderful service at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Krishna, so he came back and remained there as before, as if he didn't do anything like that. So from this devotee stresses that a practicing devotee also, when he is empowered to perform many wonderful services, he should remain very humble, not to be puffed up saying that I have done this thing, it's my capability or by my own strength I was able to do like this thing. Not like that. So one should not be puffed up, because understanding that it is by the grace of Guru or Krishna, one got the opportunity of this service, and also they by their strength we were able to do these services. One should have that kind of understanding and consciousness so that they can remain humble and not to be puffed up, because once they become proud or puffed up, then there is a possibility that they will fall down from that. So instead of thinking that I have done this with my own capability or my strength, so we should forward all the credit. Even somebody glorifies the devotee who performed a wonderful service, so instead of accepting that glorification or that prizes, that credit, so we should forward that glorification to the Guru or Acharyas towards Krishna, so that we can become humble, we can stay humble and not to be puffed up like that. So generally a devotee doesn't look for glorification or honor for the services that he or she has done. Instead, so they prefer to glorify others, even if they have done a small service. So in that way, so we will remain humble We will not be puffed up. Not only that, because we are glorifying others, which means that we are seeing their good qualities. So even if we have any negative thoughts towards them, they will go automatically. So the envy towards them also will go automatically like that. So the last sloka for today. uh, Exhausted by the labor of childbirth. So now in the Gokula, Yashoda was overwhelmed with sleep and unable to understand what kind of child had been born to her like that. So usually, when a mother delivers baby, she goes through so much labor. It's very intensive process. So due to that, they become tired, and they will not be able to understand at that time what kind of child she gave birth like that. And Prabhupada also mentions in the purport that Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva, they were both very intimate friends. So similarly, Mother Yashoda and Devaki are also very intimate. Prabhupada mentions that um, actually their names are different, but practically they are all same like that. Either Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj are same. Similarly, Yashoda and Devaki are also same like that. So the only difference is Mother Devaki being in Vatsalya Rasa, but mixed with little awe and reverence, because she understands that her son is the Supreme Lord Krishna. But Yashoda, so she doesn't consider her son as the Supreme Lord, and without considering like that, so she always tries to please the Supreme Lord Krishna like that. So I'll pause it here. Those are the few points that I thought to share with this. Thank you all for giving this opportunity. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Panchakalpatarupyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a very nice class. Thank you all devotees for joining the class today.